everyone, I'm Anna, and today I'm going to be building a home for 2 Sims using only the cats and dogs and the cottage living expansion packs, in addition to the base game, of course. So as I was building, I was kind of learning about this house as I went. It wasn't until I added the siding that I thought, wow, I could really see this being a cute house on the coast. But I didn't want to interrupt my recording, so I ended up moving the house to a different lot in Brindleton Bay after it was finished, which is the world that comes with the Cats and Dogs expansion pack. I'm not quite sure what I'm doing with this chimney thing on top of the door. For the life of me, I cannot remember what I was thinking. Knowing me, I was probably trying to make a turret or something because I really like those weird kind of towers, but it's kind of funny that I kept it for so long before deleting it. It didn't make it into the final build, though. I was inspired to build this house after watching a lot of other people building tiny houses. coco-simsy has a really nice video with tips and tricks to building tiny houses that I'll link to in the description. I tried using some of what she suggested in this build, but I couldn't quite figure out some of it, so I think I'll just need to experiment more so that I can get the feel of it. I love natural light in my build, so I always add a lot of windows, which allows me to add a lot of curtains later on too, which is nice. I added a chimney just for the look of it. There wasn't really enough room on the inside for a full fireplace, but I like to think that maybe this was an older house that used to have a fireplace until it got renovated. To me, this seems like a great Airbnb house for a couple of friends or a dating couple for the weekend. I just really liked it. So for the walkway, I really wanted to try to do something different than I usually do. Normally I just do terrain tools to make a little path, but for whatever reason I thought maybe it would be a good idea to use a rug as these tiles. Obviously it turns out that the actual tiles that are made for the ground work a bit better. Here I'm using different terrain tools to help blend the environment to the build. I think this makes a huge difference. I've noticed that a lot of times when something just doesn't look right or feel right to me, adding some new terrain textures can help out a lot. I usually like to go over the same spot several times with different colors and the eraser to give more of an organic, kind of blended look. I also really like this modular wisteria that's from the Cottage Living pack. I think it's absolutely gorgeous, but I was a bit surprised by how good it looked since it's pretty flat compared to a lot of the other plants in The Sims. When you are layering other bushes or something, you can kind of rotate them to get a lot of varieties in textures and patterns, which just isn't the case with this wisteria. So I was surprised by how well they layered just kind of by moving them slightly to the left or right to make it look not like a copy and paste version of itself. I'm also proud of myself because I remembered to add an outdoor trash can and a mailbox this time. I forget to do that almost every single time because it's just boring to me. I don't know, it just doesn't register. And then I'll play test it and I'm like, oh, this isn't functional. We need more stuff here. So I'm proud of myself for that. Adding plants is one of my absolute favorite parts about building in The Sims. I think it's so much fun to layer the plants and make it come to life, like the yard come to life. Something I do struggle with is adding too many varieties of plants in the same garden. This time I tried to limit myself to using just a few types of plants. I still used a lot, obviously, but it doesn't look super busy and crowded, I think, just because yeah, it's the same kind of plants over and over again. It just looks more cohesive. One thing I don't love about the wisteria is that it's very visible when you're playing, and sometimes it can kind of get in the way. Since it's only on one side of the house, you can kind of get away with just not having your camera over there. I think you can pretty much interact with all the items in the house without having the wisteria in the way, but I do wish it was a little bit less visible. I wasn't totally sure what to do with this little porch area. It was too small for a table and chairs. I ended up just going for decoration, but when I play tested this, it was actually really nice to have Sims talk and hang out on the porch. I don't think it would have happened that way if it was packed full of stuff. I'm not very used to building tiny houses, so there was a lot of trial and error happening while I tried to figure out how to design the inside of the house. I had some trouble deciding where I wanted each room, so because of this I ended up editing out a lot of the footage because it was just kind of confusing and boring to watch, if I'm being honest. So that's where there's a lot of weird cuts and stuff, sorry about that. Things finally clicked for me when I found out that there's a couch that fits perfectly into the bay window, which is something that never would have happened unless I limited the expansion packs that I was using. Because I feel like when there's too many items, I skip over a lot of them, they just don't register in my brain. And I've seen that bay window couch before, but for whatever reason, I never stopped to check it out and actually see what it was about. So that was a good find. I've been trying to do more non-traditional bed setups. Usually I'm used to doing 2 end tables and some kind of art above the bed, but this time I put a shelf above the bed and tried to make it look like the painting was leaning against the wall with some other personal items. I really like how it turned out. It saved a bit of space, which is good because it's such a small house, and I ended up not needing the end table, so that was a plus too. I also said this in my last video, but I love these little dressing areas that I've been putting in the corner of a lot of my bedrooms. I think it looks very cozy and stylish. I think I saw it once on Pinterest and I was like, yes, this is gonna go in all of my builds now. I love the cabinets in cottage living. I think I also said this in my last video, but I love the butcher block countertops and all the different colors that you can choose from. They're all just very pretty colors. One thing I kind of wish is that I added a bookshelf or something somewhere so that people could read in that little bay window area. But I suppose it wouldn't be too hard to add one of the small stacks of books somewhere. I think in cottage living it comes with a line of books that you can actually use as a library. I love this little breakfast bar area. I think it's so cute and charming. I love breakfast bars. I went to my first one not too long ago and honestly, it's just such a different feel. It feels very casual, which is perfect for a coastal cottage home, I think. I also really love these paintings that come with the Cats and Dogs expansion pack. There's 4 different color palettes, and then within each one you have 4 different options, so you end up getting a really effortlessly cohesive look without it feeling too dry or too matchy-matchy. I'm also really happy about this fridge corner thing that I made. I think that really made the space look nice and it prevented that middle window from being cut in half, which was bothering me the whole time that I was building, and I was trying not to be a perfectionist, but I totally was. Well, this is the final product. I really love how it turned out. It feels like the perfect amount of cozy without being too cluttered. It just seems like a really nice place to relax for the weekend and recharge. Thank you for watching. If this is something that you enjoyed, please take a moment to like and subscribe. This helps me know what you like, and so I can make more stuff that you would be into watching. I hope you have a good rest of your day and week, and stay safe.